Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Game, Develop, Repeat. Today, I want to talk about side quests. When you run into a side quest or maybe a side objective in a game that doesn't seem particularly interesting to you, but you go, well, maybe there's something here. Do you take it or not? What is the line for you? At what point do you go, yeah, sure, I'll do this side content. Why not? Or do you plow through the main story? Recently, I've been considering doing less side quests, focusing on the main story. I don't know why I've always felt this compulsion to do all the side quests that I encounter. Now, I kind of think of myself as a completionist because I have the old habit of walking around the edge of rooms and checking for items and doing all these things. I'm always looking for more stuff. I'm always going, have I missed something? But I do always end up missing something, right? Because there's a lot of content in games and it's easy to miss things. I don't think I fully qualify as a completionist because I don't actually try to complete the game. Once I finish a game, I find out, oh, I missed all this stuff. I go, okay, fine, whatever. I'm not worried about it. Once I finish the main story of the game or whatever presents as the main story, I feel the urge to stop. I go, okay, the game is finished. When I played a game that had a bunch of secondary endings and said, please replay the game to get the full content experience, this is not where the game actually ends. This is kind of a narrative device. I still had the instinct to stop right then and there because it felt like the end of the game. Up until that point, though, I explored every little detail, every little nook and cranny, and tried to do all the side quests and so on and so on. Even when I stop enjoying the side quests. And I imagine some of you have had that experience, and some of you may not be as, I don't know, obsessive as me or neurotic, or I don't know what the character trait is that leads you to do every single side quest, but not try to complete the game perfectly. I don't know exactly what that is, but I think a lot of people have it. Maybe that's just because I have it. But I think it's getting in the way of my enjoyment sometimes. So now I'm thinking maybe there is a middle ground here. Maybe there is a judgment call that I should be more comfortable making in terms of, I don't like the hook for this quest. I'm out. I tend to go, they put this in the game. There's probably a good payoff. And a lot of the times there is. Even if it's a couple quests down the road, it just opens up a quest line and then you keep working through it and you go, oh, here's a great quest line. I do the thing where I just assume that it's going to be good. Like when your friend tells you, oh, this show is going to be incredible. It's so good. You're going to love it so much. Just give it 2 seasons. And you go, do I really have 2 seasons? I just inherently automatically trust side quests. I go, no, it'll be good. Even though across all of the games that I've played in my life, if I look at it, boy, I think a lot of the side quests have been pretty bad. Right? We look at the MMO genre, how many fetch quests are there? I mean, fetch quests are just a thing, but they're heavily rewarded. Sometimes they pad the game's time. Sometimes the point of it was so that you could put it on the back of the box when you were selling the game. It's like, oh, this game has over 50 hours of gameplay. Yeah, how much of that gameplay is just a single back and forth between two characters where you're just carrying messages from one to the other and then back and then back and then back, right? Like how many of these hours are just wasted hours, are not fun at all, but you're committed, so you go, well, no, the fun's coming. I think this is the danger in side quests. I think they can add a lot. And let me point out one thing here. that I may be glossing over here. Sometimes fetch quests are enjoyable. Sometimes fetch quests are good. Sometimes they're giving you lore, they're introducing you to mechanics, they're showing you this character, they're bringing you to a new place for you to explore that place. There's a lot of good things that can come from a fetch quest. Like a quest doesn't have to be gameplay mechanic oriented. I don't want the majority of my quests to be fetch quests, though. This is one of the things that doesn't really work for me in the MMO genre. I get frustrated when I'm told to go to this person, and I go to them, I talk to them, and then I level up, and then I go talk to somebody else, and I level up again. And I'm like, I haven't played the game. Why are my skills increasing? That can be a little odd to me. And I don't think that is the ideal use of the side quest, the ideal use of the hook that you're giving somebody where you go, no, believe me, this will be worth it. Although a lot of those MMOs do ultimately pay off on that promise, right? They do go, no, it was leading to this, right? You can look at it as this giant interconnected web. By the way, the reason I've been thinking about this is because Final Fantasy 16, not an MMO, but a JRPG that was, I think, directed by an MMO guy. Or I should say an MMO guy. He's done a lot more than just that. But I believe the director of Final Fantasy 16 is the guy who kind of saved Final Fantasy 14. If you know that story, it's very interesting. But I'm not going to dig into all that today, partially because I don't know all the details off the top of my head. But you can tell that the quest design has a little bit of this, go talk to this person, go talk to that person. It's not terrible, but it did get me thinking. Because there have been quests where I go, really? I'm delivering soup to 3 people? That's my quest? And they're all here in this room? That's what we're doing? Oh, it's a mechanism for them to deliver dialogue to me. It's a mechanism for them to tell me about the world or about their life or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I guess. I mean, okay, sure. And that's a weird moment for me when I look at a game and I go, okay, sure. Like, it's taking a big chunk of my time and making me go, all right. But then sometimes I get the lore from a fetch quest and I go, ooh, that's really interesting. That's nice. That's great. Thank you. And I wonder where that balance is. I wonder where that point is. And it's going to be different for everybody, but it has opened up my awareness to the fact that maybe not all side quests are for me. Maybe some side quests, I can look at it and I don't have to say, why did they put this in the game? And now I'm obligated to do it. Now I have to do the side quest because it exists. No, I can look at the side quest and go, well, I'm not going to do that. But I do think that when I do that, there's probably going to be some reward from the side quest that I need for some other side quest that I want to do. And that's going to drive me crazy. So I don't know. I'm hesitant to experiment with it. Let's talk about what this means for us from a development perspective, though, because I think we all understand, like, we've all had that feeling as a player, but I don't think I've ever thought through it from the development perspective. I mean, I think we all probably had the thought, man, if I made a game, I would make sure that every quest is amazing and everybody enjoys it all the time. But people enjoy different things, right? So let's dig into this a little. So that instinct that I have of, I'll just make sure that everything in my game is good. Everything in my game is interesting, and nothing is some wasted content that is not exciting. Well, God, I want to believe that I can say, yeah, no, I'll just develop really good taste, and everybody will agree with me, and it'll be wonderful, and I won't waste anybody's time on quests that they don't like, and blah, blah, blah. I'll only make sure that there are good rewards for the good quests. Like, that's nice to believe. But, and there is some level of objectivity in what makes a good side quest, right? Like, I think that's just true. I think there is some level of, like, did you make this good or did you make this bad? So, yes, we want to strive towards all the side quests are good. This is me, maybe. I don't really like a lot of filler in my games. I like to spend a lot of time in the universe, but I want all that time to be good. I would rather leave a game craving more than end the game and go, yeah, that was really good, and I enjoyed my time there. I'd rather be like, that game was so insanely good. Every single moment of it was just crunched together with value. I don't know. That's poor phrasing. But every moment of the game was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it all, and I wish they made more. Then have a couple moments where I go like, I did that, I just kind of phoned my way through that. That wasn't that exciting. I say that, but I'm thinking about Yakuza 0, which is an extremely goofy game that has tons and tons and tons of side content, which I did not do all of, I don't think. There's no way I did. But the side content in that game is deranged to the point where I think it invites you to ignore it. It's kind of like, yeah, this is completely insane. Are you sure you want to help with this? I mean, okay, have fun, and then goes off on some goofy thing. So maybe there's something to be said for giving so much content that it makes it very clear that you were not expected to do all of it, which is a very difficult thing to do as an indie. So maybe we don't take that approach, or maybe I don't take that approach in my own personal development. What else can we learn from side quests, or what else could we use side quests for? I think making the player feel more at home in the world is a major interesting way to use side quests, and it's a little bit at odds with the way that I like them to be. I like them to be very engaging and exciting, but there is an argument for just, yeah, this feels like a world that you are in and interacting with, and I think that that's great. It doesn't have to be super exciting. It can be a little bit everyday. It can be a little bit mundane, like this soup quest that I alluded to with Final Fantasy 16. I get that. So I'm trying to argue against myself here and see the value in the quests that I don't particularly like. And see if there's a way that we can exaggerate what that is and use it effectively. Because I don't think that it's effective to have a like 2-minute walk to this person, talk to them, get this reward thing to establish that level of lore. But I do like the idea that you can just walk up to some guy and deliver him soup and him be like, oh, hey, and start telling you about his life. I do think that is interesting. But presenting it as a, hey, here's an important quest that I need you, the hero, to go do. And then you go do it, and then you come back and they're like, thank you so much. Here's extremely valuable materials and a ton of experience. That presentation doesn't feel like the way to get to that end, but there is a valuable end there. And I think that it's really worth asking that question of like, okay, this quest is trying to do something. What is a more effective way of doing it? And I think dialogue just in the world, interacting with random NPCs, having like a side thing in the game that's an ongoing thing, like a meal delivery service that's like a whole goofy thing. This is now escaping the scope of this particular game and becoming a whole different strange idea. But my point is, maybe it doesn't always have to be a quest that delivers this particular type of value. The last point that I want to make is about expectations. I think as people who play a lot of games, we have expectations whenever we start playing something in a particular genre. You play an RPG, you expect a lot of side quests, right? There's tropes. And then as developers, we carry those expectations over and put them into whatever we're making. I think it's important sometimes to drop the expectation, to look at it and go, is this what I need to be doing for my particular version of this genre? Is this relevant to this project? Is this a good thing for my game and my workflow and my workload? I think it's an interesting question to ask because I sometimes I'm playing a game and I go, they just put this in because they're supposed to, you know? Oh, they put in a crafting system because you have to now. You just have to have a crafting system. Oh, they put this in because it's just expected. And then they kind of phoned it in, or it just doesn't mesh well with the rest of it. And all right, well, you did the thing, and I do like crafting systems, so I'll use it. But okay, all right, you kind of just gave me it because I'm like, well, does that is that worth it with side quests? Is it worth it? Does your RPG have to have side quests? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it can just be the main line. Or maybe it can be very focused on the side quest thing, right? That side of things. I just think we have so many assumptions about what makes a game good or fit into a genre or whatever. We have so many assumptions about what a game is supposed to be. And it's important to step back and question some of those assumptions and say, yeah, maybe my game doesn't need 20 hours of side quests. Maybe it needs 2 optional side quest lines that you can go on to if you want to. You can pop into them at different moments even. Maybe you can start at this point in the game. Maybe you can start at this point in the story. And how that side quest ends changes based on when you started engaging with it. You could do interesting little things like that, but decrease the quantity and have it be more of a story-focused side quest with different endings, right? We think about having different endings. We often look at just like the big picture of the game because that's like the massive goal is, this game has 17 different endings that are all completely different and have totally different cinematics and implications and all this stuff. But we do get different endings to side quests sometimes. A lot of side quests are just, oh no, this is exactly what happens. Boom, 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 done. You did it. But every once in a while, you get choices. This is where The Witcher 3 shines. It gives you some really uncomfortable choices in the side quests. And it's marvelous. It's a great game. Partially because of that. Okay, let's wrap this thing up. I've got to keep this one kind of short this week. Here's a question for you. What is your favorite side quest that just comes to mind right off the top of the head? Everybody's probably going to think of the Baron quest from The Witcher 3 because I just mentioned The Witcher 3. So then try to come up with, I don't know, a second one. Here's one that popped in my head. There's a weird little quest in Warcraft 3's campaign called Bare Necessities, and I only thought of it because it's a really stupid pun that they put in the game, and it's stuck in my head forever. It's just one dumb little pun because it was a quest involving bears, and I still remember it. I like that side quest. I like that goofiness. I don't know why. Ooh, and then some stuff in Planescape Torment. That's just like areas you can discuss. The whole game feels like a side quest. Everything in Planescape Torment feels like it can be completely missed, and therefore everything feels like some big optional thing because there's just so many choices. So what's a standout side quest for you? What's one that you look at and you go, now that is an incredible side quest? And what is it about that particular one that makes it so good? That is everything for today. Thank you for joining me. I'm cutting it a little short today because I'm still recovering a bit, and I've got a crazy work schedule ahead of me this next week, and I just finished working all weekend. So we'll catch up next week. But for now, this is just going to be a short one. Next one's probably going to be a little short too. But thank you for joining me. Until next week, get out there, make some stuff, and have fun with it. Bye-bye.